Although there are many myths surrounding the ancient Greek mythological protagonist Orpheus, all focus on the story surrounding him and his wife Eurydice. Orpheus, gifted with many musical abilities which allowed him to charm anything that he desired, used this power upon the nymph Eurydice. They were shortly wed, but soon after their marriage ceremony, Eurydice accidentally landed upon a snake and was bitten. The poison slowly caused her to perish, and once Orpheus discovered this tragedy, he sought to travel to the underworld, where he would confront Hades and attempt to convince him to return to him his beloved. Orpheus traveled to the underworld, using his musical gifts to charm any guardian of the realm of Hades which crossed his path. Once he finally found Hades, Orpheus utilized his magical musical abilities to make Hades feel empathetic for him. To do this, he reminded Hades of how he too had fallen under the spell of love with his wife Persephone. Hades' cold heart was touched by Orpheus, and decided to grant Orpheus with his deeply sought-after wish. However, Hades offered one condition to this wondrous gift. This condition entailed that on the ascent back to the mortal world, Orpheus was not allowed to look back at Eurydice to check to see if she was still there, and instead was forced to rely upon Hades' word that she was following him. The trek back to the mortal world was long and treacherous. Orpheus made sure to keep to his word to Hades, and continued the long voyage to return to their world. Once Orpheus had finally reached the surface, he was filled with immense passion and jubilation. He couldn't help but give a glance back at his beloved wife, whom he successfully voyaged for. However, he hadn't realized that Eurydice remained in the cave below the surface of the mortal world, and had yet to cross the threshold into their realm. For a brief instant, Orpheus caught a glance of her below the surface of the world, but then instantaneously she disappeared. Orpheus, horrified, realized his blunder and cursed himself for his mistake. He continued to roam the lands, playing gloomy, desolate melodies for all around. The loss of his love caused him to become secluded and isolated, away from society, while he kept plucking away at his lyre and singing about his heartbreak.